Hello there and welcome to Shepparton, the beautiful place that is Shepparton in country Victoria, about an hour and a half just north there of Melbourne, and it is a spectacular place. Not too many beaches here. You wouldn't imagine this is where beach volleyball would be played, but it is for the second time. The FIVB World Tour men's beach volleyball has come to Shepparton, Victoria, located right on the floodplain of the Goulburn River, as I mentioned, in northern Victoria, and a great time to bring in a legend of the sport, Kerry Pottars, Sydney gold medalist. What an honour it is to have you by my side, and look at this forecast today.
Yes, absolutely perfect weather conditions. Thank you very much, Mr. Steve Hart. Thank you for joining us for the commentary on my favourite sport in the absolute world of sport. But it's fantastic here. It's sunny, 24 degrees. I think it's probably warmer out there on the court.
I can't understand why you love it, Kerry. I mean, sand, beach, travel all over the world. It sounds awful.
I know, it is. It's a hard life. But you know what? It's not all easy. And these players, they have been really heating up. There's the women out the back there, actually. They're getting ready for their bronze medal playoffs. They've played their semi-finals already, and we're up now for our second men's semi-final. You can see all the beautiful countries that are here with us as well.
24 degrees, the forecast for this men's semi-final. Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann, the top seeds. They're the best Australian men's pair at the moment, and very likely to be our Commonwealth Games team as well. I don't want to jinx them. They're up against the German pairing of Armin Dollinger and Simon Kulzer. They're your officials there, and it is James Salvin and Apanisa Sakuru from Fiji. This is an exciting semi-final. Can the boys from Australia get through and defend their title?
I would very much like to hope so, think so, but you never know. We saw the Australians, the young Australians, just go down in the first semi-final to the US. They were looking amazing yesterday afternoon. They came out a little bit shaky this morning, and just the Americans were too good. They were too consistent, and they didn't really let it, the gravity of the situation affect them. But the Aussie boys, Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann, they have had much more experience, and they had this experience exactly last year. So they're up against the German team. The Germans were beaten. Both Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann, the Aussies, and the Germans have been beaten one time in this tournament. The Germans were beaten by the other Australian team, Schumann and
Durant and
Durant
Schubert, yeah.
and Schubert, yes. So many shoes. Lots of shoe names. And the Americans actually, they took them out. So, look.
And these boys, of course, you mentioned, lost to Sweden. That was a shock loss yesterday to start their day off. But they bounced back with two very impressive wins when it came to the knockout stages.
They did in the quarterfinal. They had a very solid game against a very smart Fijian team, but they came out and held their cool. So there are Germans right now. They've come a long way. We've talked about the distance for the Europeans. But, of course, the Australians are doing that all the time. We're always going over to the European countries. As we see Dollinger come out, number one for Germany. Armin Dollinger and his partner Simon Kulzer.
And they'll find conditions fairly warm here. No doubt they're used to it perhaps on the World Tour. They wouldn't be used to it too much in Germany. Not a lot of heat and beach and weather, that kind of stuff there. Yeah, for people who are new to the sport, you might even wonder, how do people from Europe, like Austria and so forth, even get involved in beach volleyball?
Well, volleyball is a big sport all around the world. All these players, including the big man there, Chris McHugh, they all start off playing indoor volleyball. And, well, I shouldn't say all, because most, probably 90%. And then Damien Schumann from Melbourne, so he's got a big family here, watching, hoping, crossing their fingers. You can't see many crowd members there, but all the crowd are actually on the other side of the camera right now because of the sunshine. So the sun's coming up. It's very warm in the stands. They're all sitting on this side. There is a big crowd. There'll be a lot of noise. There'll be a lot of support for the Australians. Maybe a couple of sneaky Germans in the crowd cheering as well for Dollinger and Kulzer.
So, things said here for this second semi-final of the men. Simon Kulzer to serve for Germany. Chris McHugh and Damien Schumann representing Australia in this all-important match at Shepparton, and we are underway. They have to be dig desperately. It was the big man back there, Chris McHugh, and they get a point there to start. So they get their campaign underway.
That's right. Nice, solid set from Schumann. It's an interesting serve from the Germans, going short. Let's see what their strategy is going to be. Schumann with the serve, the first serve for the Aussies.
Germany again unable to control the point, and a really good start for the Australians. Very early days, obviously, but they've come here to make a statement in this match. I know Damien Schumann mentioned that they were feeling the pressure in the lead up to this tournament. A lot of talk around these boys in the Commonwealth Games. They haven't been announced as the Commonwealth Games team. That won't happen until February 20, and it is not absolutely a certainty, but they've done everything they need to do up to now to be the team.
Absolutely. If Chris McHugh keeps blocking like that, there'll be no doubt that this team will be the team at the Commonwealth Games and the team vying for a gold medal there. But today they're vying for the gold medal here in Shepparton. See the crowd there at the back of the court under the umbrellas already. You know, we talked about the weather. We saw it was 24. I reckon it's hotter out there right now. It's, you know, the breeze is almost completely stopped. Big swing there. Kulza taking it on himself. I'll finish this point.
And they're also, of course, the defending champions, Schumann and McHugh. They took it out here in March last year when World Beach Volleyball came to Shepparton for the first time. And it is great to be back here for the second time. They'd love to defend their crown here and also to give them that momentum as they continue their push to Commonwealth Games. Oh, what about that from McHugh? McHugh, brilliant stuff.
And a wicked angle from McHugh. He hits so well across his body. So some players, they have a favourite one way or the other. McHugh across his body to the left side. Fantastic angle.
Not exactly what you expect to see from the big man. Normally flying up high and just powering it down, but he did that and got some movement as well, which is a little bit more difficult than it is for the shorter players.
Absolutely. Nice flat float serve too. So you see Chris McHugh will be changing up his serve. This morning he's decided to start with his flat float serve, so he's serving from the middle of the back of the court through the middle of the two players. So although it doesn't seem like a difficult serve, the difficulty is in deciding who is going to receive that serve.
Got their game face on. McHugh, he serves, good lead, 5-1 early on. The Germans try to fight back, goes too long. Another point to the Australians. This is a good start.
Great start, very solid, very confident start from the Australians. They look focused, they're not overly anxious. They know that they just have to get the job done, play their game. The Germans need to really come out and do something special, I think. You know, they've had their ups and downs over the tournament. They had a big three-setter in their first match against Thailand, pushed them.
Just lost his footing there, Damien Schumann. He couldn't move quick enough, and he wasn't able to get to that short ball that was placed just over the net by the Germans. And of course, McHugh and Schumann. They admitted that first up loss yesterday against Sweden was a wake-up call for them. It wasn't a knockout game, but it was a wake-up call and a loss that you never want to say a loss that you had to have, but it was certainly a loss that kicked them into gear. And their next two matches, well, they're just absolutely dominating, and their early stages of this one, they got a nice lead as well, 7-2.
Off the top of Chris's head that time, just big on the block. He's getting his head right up over the net, his arms over the net, but couldn't get his hands around the ball. But I like a bit of a wake-up call. It's, you know, it's often easier to go through the rest of the tournament when you've been tested early. If you're not tested too early and then all of a sudden you get to the finals and you're playing the top teams in the tournament, it's much harder to get the best out. So right now, Chris McHugh really performing well, and of course his partner Schumann just putting the ball on the net. He's such a craftsman, Damien Schumann. He really does place the ball well. Chris McHugh's the big hitter, power player. Fantastic partnership. You see McHugh will run to the net and block. Schumann will stay back and play defence.
Oh, nice work again. McHugh dominating the net. And as you say, Kerry, the two working very well together. Schumann, great defender. Was given full credit by his partner in yesterday's very important quarter-final match. But he didn't just let anything go. It's just about in defence.
Yeah, he's a bit of a bobcat, just digging everything in defence. Shuey, we call him. He's got a few names. Interestingly, their first match of the tournament was up against Damien Schumann's brother. And very tight match. Of course, McHugh and Schumann won that. But very interesting playing against your sibling. It would have been a strange feeling, first time in a World Tour event. They've played against each other in smaller events, but
it was definitely a great moment for the family. I spoke to both of the players afterwards. There's a 10-year age gap between the two. So Damien on screen there now said he watched his little brother grow up as a baby, and what a great moment it was to play against him. And look, it was a close match too, and young Justin Schumann and his partner Wakefield, they got a few points on it. It was 21-19, I think, and 21-18, so very close.
Good to see that... you know, once these boys step out on the court, it's all business. But off the court, so many of these teams are great mates. They really respect each other, have a good time together on the World Tour. And that was a much better side out from Germany there. Dollinger really making use of his full height and strength at the net. Dominant down the line. Schumann just leaving a little slice of line. Oh, sorry. McHugh leaving a bit of line open. Dollinger taking it.
Yes, but there again, McHugh hits back a different style of point that time for him, but plenty of open court, and he finds it, and that is a big lead, isn't it? 10-4 to open up in a semi-final.
It's a good lead, so the Aussies just needing to stay consistent here and hold on to that lead. Not get too excited just yet. Germans needing to find something to try and fight back, so they need to up their game, maybe take a few more risks. Schumann keeping Kulsner in the middle, easily digging that play on two.
Should dominate here, and it hits the net though, and that gives Germany a chance. And they take advantage of it as well to win that point.
That's a good break for Germany. They had a chance there, that ball from Schumann taking the top of the net. Had that not hit the net, it probably would have made a point. And then McHugh not able to take that block out, so Germany trailing, Australians still looking good. Good joust at the net. Two big men on the court. Australia taking that out easily. So both McHugh and Schumann looking very focused.
McHugh, not one of his biggest jump serves, just getting the job done at the moment and trying to win things that the net can't control that play, and the point goes to Germany to keep themselves in this first set. 6-11 trail.
Yeah, I think that's what Germany need to do. If Chris McHugh's blocking is on point, if his timing is good, they'll need to hit off the block, off the top, off the sides. He's such a big player on the net. And the power that time. So Dollinger was in a great spot to try and block that angle hit from McHugh, but the power just broke his arms and it went through his hands for the winner.
So the number one seeds doing it reasonably comfortably at the moment. Still plenty of time and a long way to go in this match. Germany will be hoping for some more of that. Replay, they just get themselves into the position. McHugh's there, he's ready for it, can't quite control that, block the arms. Not as close to get into the flight.
Very good, Steve. Thank you, Steve, for being such a great commentator, for stepping in for our normal legend, Jonathan Fogarty. I know how much you love the sport. And a lot of balls being driven off the block. So when you've got two big guys hitting against each other, you'll see that a lot on the beach. There is only one blocker. When you're playing indoor volleyball, you have three blockers to get past. Goodness knows how spikers, I can't even remember how to get a spike past a three-person block. On the beach, there is only one, so it's a lot more strategic. The blocker will move around, and that's a big block from Dollinger. So he moved around, he jumped into the block that time on Chris McHugh and took it out solidly. So they sit down now for a technical timeout. You can see here, Dollinger's up and just, oh, beautiful hand. His hands are nice and wide apart. He's taking out almost both the angle and the line shot, or the line hit. So that'll bring them a little bit more confidence. They're closing that gap on the Aussie boys. The Aussie boys, as I said, just really need to hold in the middle of this set, do things well. They don't need to do anything particularly better. And then push to close it off at the end. So it's really beautiful blue skies here. Can't see many crowd right there because they're hiding in the shade. They're on the other sides of the court. They're coming out. Thank you to all our wonderful sponsors that help support our event. Hello World, Hancock Prospecting, of course, our uniform suppliers, Zeus, Macassar, our ball suppliers, beautiful state of Victoria, and also the town of Shepparton for having us here. They love their events here in Shepparton. Really gets the city going, and people come from other little areas, you know, around Shepparton, come in for the big event. As you said earlier too, Steve, last night we had a great crowd. They're just waking up here. A big night last night.
And the German boys had a little bit of luck probably to get to this point, so they'll be hoping for a bit more of it now. They're in the same pool as our other Aussies, Zach Schubert and Cole Durant, who our Aussie boys beat them pretty comfortably, 21-13, 21-14 in that match. And then in the round of 12, they found themselves having a forfeit. One of the Tide boys was in hospital with dehydration overnight.
Wow.
And was unable to come out and play. He's okay, that's the good news. Germany have managed to get through in that particular style. Of course, getting through their pool and then having a bit of an easy run with a forfeit there in round of 12.
Interesting journey there for Germany, but you know they can still win this tournament with a loss and a forfeit and a long trip. Maybe not that sort of serve, but
Yes.
they've certainly been in these positions before. So.
But they did have a good win against Sweden in that quarter-final, 23-21, 24-22. So a tight match that was as well. They've seen a bit of everything. They've had a pretty comprehensive defeat at the hands of Australia and a good win over Sweden to get to this point. And now they find themselves, well, they're still certainly well in this. 4 points behind, 11-15, and they serve first set. Just a little too long on the serve that time, and the Australians will take advantage of that.
Yeah, it's tough to get the momentum going. Missing those serves at a crucial time of the match. You don't want to give any team too many easy points when you're that far behind. But you can risk it like Chris did when you're that far ahead. So Chris was looking for a big serve there. Perhaps the toss was a little bit too far in front of him. He dragged that ball down into the net, but that's okay. I wouldn't worry too much. I'd just get back out there, side out, make sure you get a solid pass set, hit, go back, have another opportunity at serving a big point.
And I wonder what, Kerry, the game plan would be for these players.
Well, there's an interesting part of the game plan. Bit of a sky ball serve, easily taken by McHugh, but drives it into the net. So maybe they just put his rhythm off a little bit. Sometimes when players jump serve at you, like doing a spike from the back of the court, that gives you the rhythm to come in and hit hard. So sometimes just the change up of a serve, we call that a sky ball, that was just out, that'll just change up the rhythm. So interesting choice.
Well, I think to the uninitiated, it just looks a bit silly. It looks like you're throwing away the serve.
Well, you don't see it very often, but some players do it so well, and it's so high and it lands on the baseline. It's actually a really difficult ball to receive, but of course you need to practice that, and just like you need to practice that short, quick ball out to the antenna, and they do that so well. So, Pilsner there,
bit of a
loving that set.
Yeah, I think they've got themselves back into this one now.
But that was out. Yeah, it actually was out. I thought that was in, but that time it was in. So Germans now really need something special here. Let's see what Donger can do with his serve.
Well, I wonder what the Australians' mindset is too. They'd be expected to win this one comfortably after what we've spoken about. They're the #1 seeds. What is their approach? Do they really want to hammer it down? Do they want to try some things, or do they just want to focus on making sure they just get the job done?
I think it's important for them to just focus on their side right now. And, you know, I know that talking to their coach, Victor Anfiloff, or the head coach of our volleyball program, and Andrew Schott, of course, is their coach. And talking to them, it's all about them just playing together as a team and really just enjoying being out there, coming together, staying connected, and I was saying earlier in one of our previous semi-finals that this is an individual sport, but a team sport, because sometimes you can really feel like you're alone out there if you're getting every single serve. Sometimes Damien Schumann gets every single serve, and that's why Chris McHugh often hits the second ball. But then, of course, you've got to come together and be a great team as well. So teamwork and individuality, and then Damien Schumann finishes it off. He sees the blocker retreating and goes over his head. Does a great lay-down dig here.
Classic Schumann, that, and finishes it off nicely, rolling it across the top of the net there, and up against those boys from Germany. They've got a set point here, 20-15 in the opening set. Australia leads. Schumann serves and goes deep, and just a little bit too deep. The pressure comes off Germany just for now. Armin Dolicher from Dachau in Germany, and Simon Kulzer from Munich. And here they find themselves in Shepparton, Victoria, against the #1 Australian team, and they have a nice little touch there to, again, back-to-back points and remain in this first set, 17-20.
A couple of little errors from Aussies, the Aussies in a row there, so they'll be looking to just relax, stay confident. Easy side out, they do this all the time. Making it tough for themselves.
Big wind up from McHugh. He'll set for Schumann, and Schumann's opportunity. He goes long, and Germany try to keep it alive, but, well, they weren't able to do it.
Yeah, the craftsmanship of Damien Schumann, digging that ball and then placing it the only spot on the court that he could, deep over the top. A rainbow shot. So they've got the first set. They played really nice, really consistent. They're just going to tidy a little bit of this scrappy play up a little bit. I think maybe they were a bit anxious to hurry up and finish that set off. But Shuey there using everything in his toolbox over the top. Beautifully executed. Now they can sit down, relax, and then do it all over again. And of course, Germany, they won't be wanting them to do it all over again, but they've got now a chance to restart. So they'll be rethinking their strategy, who we're going to serve, where we're going to serve, how we're going to play defense perhaps, and then focusing on their game and making sure that they stay aggressive. Because it really is, it's a cat and mouse. You know, you can be aggressive, but you've got to weigh up that aggression, know when to take the risks, and then, of course, stay focused, not get too excited. Like, it's such a mental game. I mean, I love it. I love it. It's just, it's a puzzle. You know, you're out there, and that's what I miss the most. I don't miss the hard work. I don't miss the heat, the sunscreen, the sand, but I miss the puzzle of the game. It's, you know, I come off the court. I used to come off the court and just be mentally exhausted from thinking about that puzzle. You know, what can we do next? How can we make the next point? What's, you know, or meanwhile knowing what's just gone past. So that's what Shuey and McHugh are going to be thinking now. Okay, that set's gone. They'll know, they'll instinctively know what worked in the first set. They'll continue to do that. And then if they have to make a change up, they'll make a change up throughout the set.
Great insight there from Kerry Podaston. 21-17, the first set to the Australians. A 16-minute first set, and a reasonably dominant one. One they'd probably like to pick up just a little bit, but they've got the job done. They have that first set in his FIVB World Tour event here at Shepparton. It's the men's semi-final. Second semi-final, we know that the USA are into the gold medal match after defeating the other Australian team of Cole Durant and Zach Schubert a little earlier, 21-19 and 21-16. So in straight sets, the Americans are waiting to see who they will play. Will it be these boys, Chris McHugh and Damien Schumann? Big power play to get that point. Goes to the Germans, does it?
Yeah, the Australians get the serve after a big point.
Right now, the Americans will be thinking they'll be facing Australia, but still a long way to go. A little fist pump from the Aussie boys.
Yeah, a little bit of a lack of focus on that point there. Kulzer not happy with himself, but he'll reset, refocus. Chris McHugh sticking with the float serve, so knowing that it's working for them right now.
McHugh at the net, and you just can't get past him, can you?
Oh, he's so dominant. Anything that's within a ball width of the net, if it's still on the other side of the net, the blocker is allowed to reach over on that third touch. So if it's within a ball width, Chris McHugh is just all over it, and very rarely will that go past him if it's that close.
A really dynamic combination, these two, and we look at that ball a little bit too long. But Kerry, I want to ask you too, I mean, we look at Damien Schumann, he looks short out there, but he's actually 6 foot tall, so gives you an idea of how tall Chris McHugh is. But the combination of the heights and the different style of play is critical.
Absolutely, and you know, these days you generally see a really big player like Chris McHugh,
Boom.
like Dollinger, who are able to do that, the power and the height at the net, and then their partners are the ones that stick in the backcourt. They stay back there, they try and scoop up everything that goes past the big block. But of course their partners still need to be able to hit the ball at the net. So Shuey, he's got the power, but he's also got the finesse. He can move the ball around to where it has to go. They often have to have really good vision so they can see what's going on the other side of the net. Just like that time Kulsner picked the wrong side. He did even have a look there. And that time they switched up the block and the defense, the Germans.
Joust, Schumann, McHugh, boom, and there it is. That's the style of play that we've come accustomed to. When they're on, they're on.
Shuey's so good at that, putting that defense. Anytime he gets an opportunity to pop it up for Chris McHugh, just like here, or the next play, here it is. He's like, I'm not going to give it to him to set me, I'm going to give it to him to have a hit. Wow. Kaboom.
They are absolutely delightful to watch when they are on song like this, and that'll be giving them confidence. They'll be feeling as though they are able to deliver that consistently. That'll be their focus. Right now the Australians lead 5-4, and they also have a 1-set lead. Best of 3 sets. First to 21 by 2.
Tough serve, float serve, the Aussies scrambling around, but Chris McHugh, a bit of a wild hit there from him. Didn't really need to do that much. That's a good point for Germany. Puts her with the serve again.
So Chris McHugh originally from Pambula. Ever been to Pambula, Kerry, in your life?
No, I can't say I have.
Beautiful town, Pambula. But right now, of course, these days, both boys based in Adelaide, where many of the Australian elite beach volleyball players are in the program there. That is typical Chris McHugh there. Again, you'll see it over and over again. Too high and just too big.
Yeah, Kulsner does a pretty good pass here. He gets a good run up. Really doesn't have anywhere to go on that play. He tries to drive it off the hands, but as I said, the ball's tight. McHugh will take it. I just love the fact that he's doing the work. He's serving. Damien Schumann just really doesn't have to do much when Chris McHugh's on target like that.
Nice response from Germany.
Better hit that time from the Germans off the top of McHugh's block, so that's what they need to do to get past McHugh off the top and out of the court.
As much noise as you can all day long. 6:37.
So Germany just a point behind, despite the appearance that the Australians are dominating. Still got a bit of room on the scoreboard for Germany, that is. Another point to the Australians for an 8-6 lead with a 1-set-to-love lead overall. This men's semi-final.
So a timeout called by Germany on that occasion. I want to have a bit of a break there before they change sides. Each team can have
winning the first set, leading by 2 here in the second set for a spot.
They're looking at each other. And then, of course, there is a technical timeout when the score amasses the first 21 points.
Plenty of talk there from Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann. They certainly weren't thinking about things, discussing exactly what they've got to do out there, and yeah, a very animated discussion between the pair.
Yeah, they're not the most animated at times. They're pretty cool and calm and collected, but when they get fired up, I love watching them when they get fired up. When it really means something, as this does mean something. I think there's a little bit of discussion going on about who called that timeout. Perhaps one team maybe sat down thinking it was a technical timeout.
Right.
Not sure, but that's okay. They all got a rest. That's the main thing. And they need a rest because it is hot out there, and I think the thermometer says it's in the mid-20s, but of course inside that little box the sand really reflects the sun. It makes it hotter. Now the referee's having a discussion there, trying to work out perhaps it was something to do with the timeout, but that's okay. Now this could affect a little bit of momentum for the Aussies, just having this little discussion. I don't think the Aussies are fussed. I think the Germans are like, well, I didn't call it.
I didn't call it. Maybe you called it, Kerry. I don't know who called it. But
doesn't matter. They've had it. They won't get another one.
And it's Schumann who'll go to the baseline and get us back underway after that timeout that was called by somebody.
By the second ref, maybe.
Second ref.
That's okay. Things like that happen, and it's best for the players just to put it behind them and focus back in on the game.
So a bit of a bang on the ball, some hand clapping from McHugh. Runs around, and that's his teammate and partner Schumann. Now, but let's get this thing back on the road. The lead 8-6. One set to love lead. And it's just a little frustration that they can't get a roll on with some momentum.
Yeah, the hardest part here is for the boys to stay focused while this is going on, while the referees, the score people sort themselves out with what's going on. But Shui makes a reasonable serve. Germans handle it well. Big power and just out. So mistake there this time from Kulza. Going with the power but missing. So he's really trying to get past Chris McHugh. Chris McHugh putting up a great block, reaching into the angle to get past it. He goes out. Gets another opportunity.
Nice work from Schumann. And doubles it up. This time he's saved by McHugh. They can't quite deliver it on that occasion.
Yeah, Schumann just a little bit short on that cut shot. He did a great dig of the Germans' cut shot. Couldn't make his own back. So Germany inching back bit by bit.
Simon Kulzer serves for Germany. On his knees, McHugh. Schumann sets it up. McHugh. And that's the type of thing that you can see from these boys.
Yeah, you just can't stop McHugh when he's in a big power mode, when he's getting really good footing in the sand. See him take a little step out to the side, get a great run up. And he's even hitting that ball a little bit behind his head, but it's still driving nicely on the angle. Big on the net. McHugh doing his job. That's the way. Damien Schumann just congratulating. That's the way, partner. Germans just dipping their heads now.
They know it's tough. They're up against a world-class team. And Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann. McHugh serves. Little jump serve. And Kulzer will try and find some space there. He gets a hand on it, McHugh, and it goes down on his side of the net. And the point, therefore, well, he doesn't seem happy about that.
I think McHugh's saying that he took off almost standing on his feet under the net. It was a tight set, so he had to get close to it, Kulzer. They had to battle it out tight on the net. We'll see it here on the replay. You can't see their feet, but you can see how tight they were, both of them on the net. It's a good play by Kulzer off the top of McHugh's block. So Schumann that time waiting for the ball to come off the net. McHugh with a slightly tight pass. The Germans inching back again. Much better pass from Schumann.
This is where McHugh loves it. That's your standard Schumann McHugh type of play. Schumann just setting it nicely for Chris McHugh. And go to another timeout, this time called by who?
This time called by the technical.
Technical. That's right, no discussion over it this time. And it is a handy position now at the halfway mark of the second set. There's the score, 21-17 the first set to McHugh and Schumann. It is a 12-9 lead they have in the second set. It is the men's semi-final, the FIVB World Tour event here in Shepparton. We are headed towards the medal matches not too far away this afternoon. We're in the middle of our semi-final matches. This is the last of the men's semi-final. The USA are already into the gold medal match after defeating Australia's Cole Durant and Zach Schubert earlier on in 2 straight sets, 21-19, 21-16 at this stage. I'll be thinking they're going to meet these two on your screen right now, but still some work to do for that to be the case.
Still working on Kulzer, the German. This time McHugh decides to pull off the net. He had an opportunity there. He won't be happy with himself. Kulzer gave it right to him in his lap. Lucky break for the Germans.
And it keeps them within touch, 10-12. This time McHugh setting for Schumann. Germany are up to the challenge, and now they control the point for a moment. What can Schumann do? He does that, and that is exactly the sort of thing he can do to take a 13-10 lead.
Actually, that ball went to Germany. It came down actually on the Australian side, so the score is now 12-11. Another chance for Chris McHugh. He bangs it away for a winner. A fantastic rally there from the Aussies.
Keeps the lead at 13-11.
Score is actually 13-11 right now for the Australians.
And there it is, 13-11 this time. The Australians get another point out to 14. Can be difficult for a casual observer to exactly see sometimes who's won a point.
Yeah, especially when that ball drops down, you know, down your front at the net. You can't tell sometimes if the ball actually lands on your side. It's the blocker's not pushing over the net well enough. And this time Germany, Dollinger with the big hit, easily picked up by Schumann. What can he do? Finds the spot.
Ah, Schumann.
Schumann's doing a lot of work in the last few points. Chris McHugh's been doing the majority of the big hitting, but the last few points Schumann's been right in the game, digging, hitting, siding out, doing his fair share of the work. So, and that's where I was talking about before. Sometimes it's an individual game, sometimes it's a team game. So, you know, one player can be all of a sudden doing everything, it seems. And your partner, as a partner, you just need to be there to support, to cheerlead, to give them good sets, to just keep them focused. And then all of a sudden, within 5 minutes, it could flip the other way around. So you need to go from the supporter to the worker and to be focused on your job again. So it's a really interesting little puzzle.
So the atmosphere really building here as well. All the music in the background, the beach volleyball experience. I often wonder, Kerry, for the players. I mean, you said it's very similar to tennis, but at the tennis you dare make a noise, and of course they kick you out of the stadium. But here we've got doof doof pumping, and we've got DJs and MCs, and the crowd just getting into it. How do the players block that stuff out?
It's just part of the game. It's just part of our culture, just like it is with tennis. I can imagine if tennis changed their culture to allow that, the players would just go crazy. And I think for beach volleyballers, if we stopped all that, it would be so quiet out there. It would be, you know, you'd hear yourself breathing. So they wouldn't want that either. So another mistake from Germany. They're really dipping their heads now. They're not feeling it. They're not getting that momentum. But Australia, they're on a roll. Chris McHugh looking very focused, just doing the job. They win this one. They're through to the gold medal match. They're assured of a medal. And they will want the crowd to be cheering them on every step of the way.
So Germany, they'll try and stay alive in this one, find some space, and that is a nice shot there from Simon Kulzer down the line, and he finds a little bit of sand, and they get a point and continue to be in this particular semi-final. For those of you who are watching this live stream in the Shepparton area, come on down, because it is an experience. It is all that music and entertainment. These athletes out there, as you can see, they take it very seriously, but often I don't think that's the case in the crowd. They're just having a great time.
Look, I think a lot of the time the crowd are not really aware of the athleticism of the players. I mean, if you've ever run across yeah, look at that. He's pumped. Yeah. If you just run across the sand as a novice, you'll understand how difficult it is to move around the sand. But doing volleyball in these conditions, playing volleyball in these, in the sand, the sun, the wind, so extremely difficult and skillful. But Australia just absolutely taking over now, and that's so good to see for the Aussie boys. They need this, a great way to hopefully make it into the gold medal match for them. Germany, they're really heads down, feeling like this is not their day. Oh, but that time, Simon Coulser saying, I'm not finished yet.
Got something left.
Yeah.
Take this.
Maybe a little bit too much, too late for Germany. Shuey this time just misses, going for a bit too much, or did he get some of the block? I don't think so. Germany get a cheap point there from Damien Schumann overhitting the ball. Will they go back to Schumann again? Yes, they do. This time Schumann puts it up high. Off the block this time, so no block touch again. So Germany another point. Timeout called, Chris McHugh. Good timeout by the big man on the Aussie side. Let's stop the rot, he's saying. Let's just sit down, have a break. We've got a good lead here. We're almost home. Damien Schumann just needs to get it together, finish the last couple of points. He's worked so hard, he's dug lots of balls, but the Germans, they're not going to give up. They're going to sniff a little bit of, have we got something here? And that's going to give them the excitement back. So that's where the momentum starts to switch.
Long way home to Germany. I'm sure right now they're sitting in those seats and thinking, we haven't come this far to let it go now. Let's see what we can pull out. A little discussion there. Simon Coulser. And of course, Dollinger, two Germans. A bit of a dusty look in the air there, and as you can see, a few people rolling in. The medal matches this afternoon, as I mentioned earlier. If you are in the Shepparton area, or even if you're watching us from Melbourne, just a short drive up the road, come on up and have a look at the beach volleyball. Some sensational action. And what we do know for sure is that there will be Australians, at least one Australian in the bronze medal match. We would expect one Australian in the gold medal match as well. So two great men's matches coming up this afternoon here in Shepparton at this FIVB World Tour event. Straight away, Germany come out from that timeout. And we are just about ready to go. Well, they've come out there and given a point away, so the Australians just 2 points away from wrapping up this semi-final. Germany will have a little bit to say about that, and that one just lands in. Again, another point.
Yeah, Coulser's really good at changing it up. He's got a great line shot. He's got a good hard angle. If he just mixes those up at the right time, he can get the points. But Chris McHugh's been so big on the block. He had to make that perfect to get it in the corner. So Germany with another point. Another mistake there inside out. Passing error. Australia just need to hold on there. Back to Schumann again. This time a good pass. Damien Schumann off the top of the block. So Shuey with the big hit gets to go back and serve up his first match point in this men's semi-final. Germany looking to side out themselves, in a bit of trouble. Coulser off the block. Where does it come down? It came down. The match is over. Goes to the Aussies. So Chris McHugh, Damien Schumann make it through to the men's gold medal match. And of course, a valiant effort from Armin Dollinger, Simon Coulser, and they will play off for the bronze against our other Australian men's team. So we have an Australian in the semis, going through to the gold medal match. And here we see Damien Schumann. Tough float serve. Coulser goes up. Didn't make it over the net. Chris McHugh just too big, saying, no way, we got this match. So well done to the Australians. They're in the gold medal match. Damien Schumann there, feeling a mixture of relief, I'm sure. and pretty happy about their performance. They kept it going. They had a few errors towards the end of that second set. Damien Schumann will be remembering those. He's pretty tough on himself. I know he'll be thinking about those errors and wanting to make them better. So the final scores 21-17, 21-17, 2 sets to love. Australia beat Germany in the men's second semi-final. So we've got a match-up, gold medal match, Australia versus the US and Germany versus our other Australian team. And now we'll hear from Steve Hart, who's popped out, and he's got Shuey and Chris McHugh to chat.
Thank you very much, Kerry. Indeed, in the end, it was a dominant performance. Guys, how'd you feel about that?
Yeah, look, it was a great game. Damien played really well, set really well today, so it's always good to get through the final in a home tournament, so looking forward to it.
What about the conditions out there, Damien?
Yeah, awesome. A little bit breezy, a little bit gusty, which always makes the serving and the passing really interesting. But yeah, Chris handled it really well in both the sets and got a lot of ball and he sided out really well, and blocked really well. So yeah, perfect, awesome.
Chance to defend your title here up against the USA. What have you got to improve, if anything?
Look, I think we can just clean up some of the side-out stuff at the end. Just a little bit shaky on the pass, but look, we're getting better each game after yesterday, so just got to keep rolling.
All right, we've got Australians in the gold medal match and the bronze medal match. Chris McHugh and Damien Schumann are there.
Congratulations, Australia. As we take a break, we'll be back later on with the first bronze medal match.